Hello, all the images you just saw were made entirely by the open-source model Ideogram 4. In a nutshell, it's an open-weight text-to-image model tilted toward design productivity. The focus isn't plain illustrations. It's posters, ads, cover images, anything that needs accurate text and layout control. It comes from a company that used to make closed-source commercial vision models, and now they've open-sourced this one. Looking at the benchmarks, it does lag a little behind closed-source models, especially gets quite a bit smoked by GPT Image 2, but it can already go toe-to-toe with Gemini's image generation tools. And in head-to-head comparisons between closed and open-source models, its scores are way ahead. You could say it's currently the best open-source image generator on the planet. Let's first check out the first, more convenient automated workflow. Some models, like Zimage, lean more into internet aesthetics or an Eastern look, but Ideogram goes harder on artistry and a fine art vibe, very stylized. The photorealistic people it generates keep natural skin texture and imperfections, which gives the images real grit, none of that over-airbrushed plastic look. But here's the catch. It's a bit prone to producing an oily, painterly texture and a smudgy feel, especially in complex scenes with a lot of detail. You might get something that looks like a half-rendered Midjourney image. In that case, you can set the image size to 2, which means 2 megapixels. Bumping it up to 3 or 4 though, the difference in texture isn't that dramatic. Nothing like the leap in quality from 1 to 2. The annoying part is that, to get really good output, the prompt really should be in JSON structure. So in this workflow, it's best to hook up a large language model to write the prompt for us. Or locally, feed this rule prompt I have into any LLM, and the natural language you type in will get converted to JSON format. A second downside, it's painfully slow at generating images. Some reviewers say you need over 30 gigabytes of VRAM locally to run it comfortably, while others report that with 12 gigabyte VRAM you can only run 1 megapixel images, and that takes 4 to 5 minutes. At 2 megapixels, it'll just blow up your VRAM. I haven't tested this myself because I mostly use Running Hub. If your local VRAM can't handle it, give Running Hub a try first, or just wait a bit. Lighter models or speed-up low-res should show up down the road. Now for its two other big advantages. 1. It can generate oddly shaped, non-standard format images. 2. As I mentioned earlier, it's insanely good with text in image. This brings us to the second workflow, using KJ's coordinate node to precisely place subjects, text elements, and background areas. This is super useful for anyone doing design work. Let's look at this node. First, you can set any aspect ratio you want. I've generated, for example, a super wide 1920 x 320 canvas, but this node's real strength is for layout. I'll demo with a square image, and I've opened a new blank node on the left for comparison. The fiddly part is that there are two fields, high-level discrimination and background. I'll put a reference image here roughly showing what to fill in for those two. Below, you can pick photo style or art style. The bottom area changes the canvas to match your chosen aspect ratio, and then you can left-click to draw a region. Once you've numbered it, below you can choose to place an object or text. You can do image only, or image plus text. For text, besides the content, you need to describe the font style roughly. What I'm showing in the end is a comparison between the selected regions and the final image, just to see how precise the placement actually is. But honestly, that KJ node control is just way too granular and fiddly, kind of a hassle. However, right before I hit publish, I happened to catch a Running Hub engineer demoing his modified KJ node. I'm putting his showcase here so you can see it for yourself.
Because some of you folks mentioned in the comments earlier that you couldn't use the KJ Node plugin, right? Like you had no way to freely edit it. And I also said back then that if you wanted to write it yourself, it's a huge pain. So I was thinking about how to solve this problem. And now it's basically been solved. So first off, I've reorganized the logic behind this plugin. The way it works now is we can automatically pass in a JSON prompt, basically. Now, how do we craft that prompt? I'll explain that in a bit. And once we feed our content into it, it automatically generates a match. Can you see that? Over here, it just auto-generates these. And then, on top of that, we can tweak the content inside those boxes. Makes things way more convenient, doesn't it? We get to keep the original KJ's very handy functionality. And we can also take a simple sentence of ours, throw in a template, and it will pop out this integrated format. So that's the core thing you're all wondering about. And I stumbled upon this by accident. We increase the number of these boxes. For example, like over here, we already have 4 boxes. And then with these boxes, whenever you have 3 or more of them, the original block gets lifted. You'd know if you tried it yourselves. But this is purely a technical exploration, okay? I'm telling you this, just so you don't actually go and do it. Don't try this kind of thing. However, this is something you might run into while using it. So you might want to pay a little attention to your prompts, because if the content in your boxes bit too much, then the model's block will be lifted.
He made the KJ node semi-automatic, and he fixed the NSFW problem. See, this model had a lot of restrictions on sexy prompts baked into its training, so it comes with a built-in prompt filter, the slightest hint of spice, and it just refuses to generate. But this workflow gets around that perfectly. I'll keep an eye on his updates. Once he drops a testing link or an install package, I'll sync it right into the video description. If you found this helpful, please subscribe to my channel, and I'll catch you next time.